Murphy supporters gather to celebrate a win in the most heated race in Connecticut. I'm Caitlin Gosley.
And I'm Ashley Afonso. We'll have reaction from the crowd coming up on your CCSU News team coverage.
America's watching, and so is CCSU. I've got the students' reactions coming up.
We're on scene at McMahon's election rally, and we've got reaction as results come in. I'm Merritt Budney. More with the story coming up next.
Hello, and welcome to a special election edition of CCSU News. I'm Adam Che.
And I'm Brianna Bruno. Well, Central, the polls are closed now, and months of campaigning have come to an end. President Barack Obama will be returning for a second term after beating out Mitt Romney. But before we get into the presidential race, we want to call to attention the heated and costly race that happened right here in Connecticut. CCSU News had reporters on scene this election night at both McMahon and Murphy headquarters. Our own Caitlin Gosley fills us in on what happened.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the Murphy Celebration headquarters. He is a clear winner. We knew it would be a close race, just like the presidential election, but we now have confirmed that he clearly won this race, and the energy is mounting.
There's a lot of
so early. Yeah, we're excited.
There's a lot of excitement here.
You know, this is just the best party you could ever have. Other than Christmas, this is it.
This race has also been about the measure of determination, the will to succeed despite the odds.
Murphy's roots are right here in New Britain, and supporters say he will lead students down a positive road.
Yeah, I think that New Britain's going to get a turnaround, especially because, you know, his mother's from there. He keeps talking about that.
That's the whole idea, that the next generation needs the same talent and education as the last few generations to make America the best it can be.
As I said, the energy in this room at the Harvard Hilton is through the roof, and I have Senator Blumenthal here to give us his reaction on the campaign.
Very exciting. It's a great night. So excited to have somebody who will be my partner in fighting for student loans that are affordable and relieving some of the debt that has been created by all of these loans in the past, by fighting for more employment, more jobs, more economic growth, so people can go to work.
It's been a long road for this Murphy campaign, and for some more reaction from the supporters, here's Ashley.
Thanks, Caitlin. It looks like Connecticut is going to stay a Democratic state, and according to Murphy's supporters, it's because he's a very reliable person.
An official that's got a proven record of working hard and knowing the issues.
You know, during the primaries, when Chris and I were debating and getting to know each other, I learned that he is one of the nicer people, and I'm just glad that his tactics, as opposed to the mean tactics of Linda McMahon, were successful.
Connecticut, you should be proud that you stood up to someone who would not try to buy your affection. And I can now stand here today and say to you that I am proud to be your next United States Senator.
With Murphy in office, his supporters say Connecticut is on the right track.
He's a good guy, so I know that Murphy is going to do good for us, for the state of Connecticut.
So there you have it, Central. Chris Murphy is your new state senator. Ashley Afonso, CCSU News. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ashley. So with Chris Murphy winning the Connecticut Senate race, where does that leave Linda McMahon? Joining us now is Merritt Budney, who was at McMahon headquarters when the results were read. Merritt?
Thanks, Brianna and Adam. I'm here at McMahon's rally, and the polls have been closed. Murphy has won by a landslide. Even though McMahon has lost, supporters are still rallying behind her.
She has a really good heart and a strong mind that she really cares for the people of Connecticut.
I thought it was going to be way closer, apparently, than it was. I really thought she had a chance.
I think she's a great lady with great values. I think she's definitely out for the best for Connecticut.
You have been there, and I love each and every one of you. And I'll repeat what Governor Rell had told me when I first started running. She said, you are going to love the people of Connecticut when you can get out and meet them, and I do.
Brittany King was able to meet up with McMahon supporters to see their views on how she did with her campaign.
Thanks, Merritt. Many of the supporters here have mixed views on how McMahon's campaign was handled.
I think she could have had more commercials directed towards, I'd say, like different races.
And I wasn't impressed at all in the debates.
I think the campaign was too harsh between the candidates, you know, like tit for tat, and, you know, too much putting down of one another.
You know, I think that if she went a little bit more in the middle of the road, then she maybe could have attracted more people.
Campaigning is over, and this chapter of McMahon's life has been determined. So, where will we be seeing Linda McMahon in these next coming months?
I don't think she's going to run again. I mean, I wish she would, but I think this might be it.
I think she'll try again, and I hope she wins.
After seeing $77 million invested into this campaign and all of it lost, I don't know how much more she's willing to invest.
I hope that she continues to get involved and to make the state a better place, and I think she absolutely wants to.
Next for Linda, I think she's definitely going to see what she can do to get in the House. I mean, I don't think she'd be done after this. I think third time's a charm.
It was a tough night, but supporters feel this won't be the last of Linda McMahon. For CCSU News, I'm Brittany King.
And I'm Merritt Budney. Back to you guys.
Thanks, guys. Let's get back to our top story now. Barack Obama has been elected for a second term. The president won with 303 electoral votes, beating out Romney's 206. Our own Tim McDonald finds out how some CCSU students are reacting to the news. Tim?
I'm here in the Student Center where people have gathered to watch the election results. And with the announcement of President Barack Obama being reelected, let's see how the students react.
I think that he was the best candidate for the choice and that he's going to do big and great things for America, and I'm really, really excited that he won.
I didn't really like Obama, to be honest. I just don't think it's going to dig us out of the financial problems that we're in as far as the economy.
As you can see, the results have drawn some mixed reactions, but as President Barack Obama says, we'll just keep moving forward. For CCSU TV, I'm Tim McDonald. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tim. The Student Government Association organized several events to prepare students to vote this recent election day. Let's take a look at one of those events that had a frustrating turnout.
In addition, we're now able to transition.
Organizers were hopeful attendance would be better at this live stream of the presidential debate.
When we welcome President Obama.
But with the number of empty seats, it seems here at Central, the election isn't quite at the top of some students' priority list.
I'm busy, but that shouldn't be an excuse. So I guess I'm just turned off by them.
Are you interested in the election at all?
Not really. I haven't really been following it.
And it's not just at Central young people are showing this kind of apathy. In a recent Pew Research poll, young voters are, quote, significantly less engaged in this year's election than at a comparable point in 2008. Voters younger than 30 who are following campaign news very closely is roughly half what it was at this point 4 years ago.
And that's what frustrates me, the engagement. The students, they're not really engaged in political life.
Meet Pepin Maguchi, an active member of campus government. He organized a live stream of all 4 presidential debates here on campus.
If we were going to watch it all together, the whole thing, the whole time, I think people will have a better understanding what's going on.
And even though there were more empty chairs than students, he still remains hopeful.
It is a bit frustrating, but there is hope.
Pepin is a native to Albania and won't be allowed to vote in this election.
I guess, the message is just vote, everybody, please.
He says your vote counts for his too, making each vote that much more valuable. With CCSU News, I'm Caitlin Gosley.
One bad event doesn't mean that all hope is lost for all young voters. In fact, the SGA said that over 400 students from Central got out to vote on Tuesday.
With help of the Student Government Association, students were able to register to vote in late October at registration tents around campus.
Actually, FGA, we decided this year to do a huge voter registration drive, and throughout the entire week, students were able to come and register to vote, whether it be with the on-campus address or through their hometown address. We had somewhere probably around 700 to 800 students actually register to vote for this year's upcoming election.
Students that registered to vote using their campus address were able to vote at St. Francis of Assisi Church, a quick 2-minute walk from campus. Other students made the drive to vote in their hometowns. According to the SGA, 20% of residential students got to the polls to cast their vote.
So what exactly drove these students to get out and vote? CCSU News went to the polls to find out. According to Pew Research, social media plays a large role in informing young voters. Both Obama and Romney's Facebook pages have over 12 million likes. The candidates are able to reach huge amounts of potential voters through these channels. But for the Central students we spoke with, social media only played a small role. For Matt Syracusa, his family is his influence, while others were a little more old-fashioned.
Father was like in the military and everything, and kind of was brought up with those beliefs. My grandfather is a Republican. My uncle is like a really successful businessman and like has Republican beliefs.
I read newspaper mostly, yeah, every day. I'm trying to inform myself. I do believe that American people deserve to have more than 4 national newspapers, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and so USA Today, and so forth.
Recently, like a couple years ago, just started getting really into it and reading a lot of books and trying to form my own opinions and stuff, and it just brought me right back to the Democratic side of things.
Election day was a little stranger than usual this year for Connecticut. We're joined now in studio by Nicole Diaz, who has the latest on the effect one storm had on the election.
Thanks, Adam. Hurricane Sandy wreaked havoc on the state last week before finally going away, but not without leaving some lingering problems for Connecticut voters.
Just days before the elections, Hurricane Sandy took a toll on the Northeast, causing extensive flood damage and widespread power outages. Power outages reached a peak of 625,000, which included many of the state's polling stations. Both United Illuminating and Connecticut Light and Power projected they would have 98% of their customers up and running by Election Day. Even with the promise of power, recovery continues for many residents.
I haven't been able to recover any of my most priceless momentums, including furnace, washer, dryer, electrical boxes, everything. So recovering that is all step by step.
Despite what people are going through, attempting to pick up where they left off, it seems more important than ever to get to the polls.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta vote. I mean, come on now. That's part of our right, and if we don't vote, what happens? Anybody gets in that office.
The state now has all of its polling locations up and running, with the exception of Longfellow School in Bridgeport and Ocean Beach in New London, which could not be reopened due to the extensive flood damage there. But Secretary of the State Denise Merrill says residents will be able to vote. They'll just be moved to a different polling location. This is Nicole Diaz for CCSU News.
That's going to do it for our special election coverage this year. For CCSU News, I'm Adam Che.
And I'm Brianna Bruno. We'll see you next time, Central.